So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and continuation of my German infamy army. So progressed really well. Got through about 30 of the regular warriors, 10 of the elite warriors, slingers, cavalry, heroes, and now some of the other support options. So this is wobbling a bit in there. There we go, sit better. These are the naked fanatics, which are a support option in the army. These are foundry figures. Really like them. I think they're really nice. Could have done with a little bit more variation in the models maybe, but when you've swapped weapons and different shields on them, they come out okay. I've used the sort of the blue colour to sort of try and symbolise tattoos on their bodies. Not overdoing it, but enough to make them hopefully sort of just stand out a bit. So you notice that they've got tattoos without being, really clear exactly what they are, because as I mentioned in a previous video, it's really hard to find any reference material on what the tattoos would have been on this sort of ancient German warrior, or indeed whether they had tattoos. I'm pretty sure they would have done. Certainly the fanatics and warlords almost certainly would have done. But anyway, nicely done. They're nice sculpts, and they've come out really nicely. Really pleased with how this unit is finished. It's only 6 in this group. So as everyone knows, the infamy rules require you to have ambush points for the armies, and I believe the Germans have 6, which seems rather a lot. Well, up to 6. I suppose they're not always going to have 6. So here we are. Here's my ambush points. I'm quite pleased with how these come out, actually. These lichen bushes, I don't know, I might replace them with something different, but I think the effect is pretty reasonable. At the end of the day, they're just ambush points, right? So the centerpiece is this, it's just a piece of rock I found on a pathway, which I thought, oh, that looks like a monolith type thing. So stuck that down there, and then a smaller one there. These are a couple of the standards that I had spare from the Foundry packs. Got that from Rich because he said on one of the Lardy Island videos, why not use some of the standard bearers because you don't need so many for the ambush points. So I thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So a couple of those. Used the horse head standard there on a pole, which I don't know where that came from. One of the packs. It might even mean the Wailing Women ones. The War Dogs, these are from the SBQR German leader packs. So I thought they'd go well with a couple of the spare archers I had. So they can be sort of the hunting parties, which I really like the look of. Yeah, so there you go. That's them done. I'm quite pleased with them, actually. I think they've come out quite well. Few little stones and pebbles and whatnot, bit of extra equipment that I had kicking around, yeah, just to make it look a bit exciting. So there you go, that's the 6 of those done. Now completed the 6 woodland archers, which are another option within the German army. These are warlords metals. They're okay. They're slightly odd poses. They're all sort of leaning forward. And they sort of therefore look like they're the same, but actually they're all different. Heads are different. The what sort of equipment is slightly different. I mean, they've all just basically got bows and not much else. But yeah, they're okay. They're all right. They'll do nicely for the army. I'm not sure how often I'll field archers. I've just noticed there's a bit more string there. Okay. You notice I've carried on with the madness that is putting bowstrings on these archers. I started doing it with some orcs a while back, and actually found it surprisingly easy to do if the model is in a position where you can get to both ends of the bow and run the string. So again, using the rigging material from the Warlords Black Seas ships, because they've always got so much left over. I've been using that, so all I do is just create a loop, pop it over one end, secure it, tighten it, and then secure it with a dob of super glue, bring it up to the other end, same thing again, little loop, pop it over the end, tighten it up, and then dob of super glue, and then trim the edges with a pair of nail scissors. And I say it works fine as long as the bow end, or the bow's in the right position. If it's too far down, you know, sort of slung under the body, you just can't get to each end, and then it's pretty much impossible to do it. Also, all of these appear to have just shot, which means you can just have the bow string dead straight down. Whereas of course if they were simulating draw and had an arrow, you'd have to sort of bring it out to the nose and down again, which is doable, but just is a bit more complicated. So anyway, long and short of it, that's how I've done it. I'm quite pleased how they worked out. Just kept these ones really simple. Got them on the Sabbat 3D badges, 3D movement tray jobs. I found a few of them got a bit warped. Somebody mentioned it in the comments that they can get warped. Yes, they can a little bit, and it's a good idea to flatten them as much as you possibly can. What I've done with this one particularly is I just held it over the kettle for a couple of seconds while the kettle was boiling, and then put it down and put a heavy weight on it, and it's gone dead flat. So yeah, that seems to be the easy way. There's a bloody fly buzzing around, don't know whether you can hear that. Anyway, that's them done. Now on to the next. So I also finished off this unit of Javelin Men. They are Warlords metals, and I just did them fairly, they've got sort of fur cloaks on, well, 3 of them have, and I just kept them fairly dark and broody, because they probably would have been the poorest of the poor troops. Yeah, I mean, not much to say about them really. They're okay figures. I prefer these figures to their plastics. They're the Warlords. I bought a couple of sprues on eBay of Warlord Germanic, or supposedly Germanic warriors plastics, just to sort of allow me to build up another force, another mob. And actually, when it came through, I didn't realise this, but they're exactly the same sprues as you get on the Gallics and the Britons, and probably some of the Dacians as well, I would imagine. Any of the barbaric foot seem to have exactly the same figures. It's just with the Germans, at least, they give you a few extra metal heads and a few metal shields that are more Germanic in nature, but there aren't enough for every single figure in the box. And I thought that was pretty rubbish, actually, really did. So I'm very, very pleased I went with Victrix. Although these metal ones, as I say, are very nice, and the fanatics I've got are very nice figures. So come on, Warlords, give us some decent Germanic. Well, I don't need them anymore because I've got the Victrix one, so forget that. Anyway, that's some more troops for the support options. And so next up, another unit of, well, shouldn't say unit, a mob, another mob of 10 Gallic warriors. These are just the mainstream guys. All of these are Victrix figures, exactly the same technique as I've followed with the previous ones I've showed you on the channel. Lots of sort of fairly blandish colours, a few stripy trousers on these. Used the dry brushing technique with the Iraqi sand just to sort of bring them all together, and using little big man shield transfers. Again, just really pleased with how they've come out. They're also on the Sabbat 3D bases, and yeah, so I think we've pretty much got a quorum of an army now to go and have a bit of a battle. So I'm really, really excited. I've got still more to do. I bought a few extra little bits and bobs. I bought a couple of extra sprues off eBay, and yeah, this army is going to grow a bit more, but really pleased to get the core done. I can play enough now to well, certainly to field a decent sized force, which is the primary goal. So next up, hopefully a game. Anyway, hope you found it interesting and useful. I've just noticed a splodge of red on that shield. I'll have to have a look at that afterwards. God, it's terrible. You look at these things on the camera with the bright light and you suddenly realise bits you've missed. Anyway, yeah, I hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed my look at my latest work with these German Infamy army figures. And I hope your projects are going along as well as mine are. Certainly am. I'm really looking forward to a game. Hope you're staying well, hope you're staying safe, and I will see you again soon. This is Dom, signing out.